Welcome to another episode of Backed or Busted. I'm your host, Rob McCallum, aka Rob McZob on Twitter, and I'm excited to get going on this episode today. But if you have a campaign that you want me to take a look at, that something out there is really intriguing, whether it's on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, or you're thinking about starting your own campaign to bring your truly amazing dream project to life, and you want some help, and you want some pointers, and you want to run it past me, reach out to me, crowdfundingspectacular99@gmail.com, on Twitter @RobMcZob, or of course on Facebook, facebook.com/backed or busted crowdfunding. Today, we are looking at Sectaurs, Warriors of Symbion. Let's go over to Kickstarter so we can learn a little bit more about what the heck this is. So here we are on Kickstarter, Sectaurs, Warrior of Symbion. Sectaurs is making a comeback with an all-new line of modern 1/18th scale action figures. Okay, so they have identified right here that this is action figures. We can also see that this comes from Zica Toys. They've created 4. We'll dig into that a little bit later. Here is a big, nice JPEG thumbnail. They are looking for almost 50,000 Canadian, which translates to 40,000 US. And right now they are at 9,300 US or 11,540. So there you go. They already have 157 backers. It launched today, January 28th. They got 29 days to go, so they've had a pretty good first day. Like I say, if you can hit 25% of your goal on day one, that's a really good sign to getting to towards your final goal. They are at 1/5, so they're not quite all the way at 25%, but they are getting close. So I would usually at this point play the video, but I'm clicking away here, and there's nothing to play. So to me, that's a major faux pas, if you will. It's easy to put a video up, especially with smartphones these days. Put something up. Nothing. Some people believe that, I'd rather put nothing up than something crappy and have them believe that that's the quality of my product. And while I understand that, there's no excuse for this, especially with a toy brand that is bringing back something notable. They could at least do like a slideshow at the very least, and those kind of programs are built into most computers. Or spend a little bit of money and go the extra distance to hire a pro that can help you out. It's always worth it. So just looking at the first chunk here, all we know is that these are action figures. I happen to know what Sectaurs are, and I actually know one of the creators. He didn't reach out to me, the individual that I know. His name is Tim Clark. He created the Sectaurs. He created the Boglins as well. He worked on the Muppets and Fraggle Rock and Sesame Street. This guy he's a rock star. I love him. He's a great, really cool guy. He didn't reach out to me to tell me about this, but it did show up in my Facebook feed about 20 times today, and then I did have finally someone reach out and say, hey, you love toys and you love pop culture, Rob. Can you check out Sectaurs and let me know if this thing is worth backing? And I said, you know what? I was looking for a new episode, so here I am. So I can't really critique their video other than to say that is a major strike against it, and it's hard for me to back something when I can't see the video or have them talk about it. Give me the sales pitch, even if it's like a used car salesman sales pitch about why I should care about Sectaurs. I have no reason to care about it right now. So let's scroll down here and read a little bit more about the campaign, and you can see some images. After 10 long months of reveals of the Sectaurs, Kickstarter is finally here. Thanks to an unbelievable opportunity given to us by the series creator, Zica Toys is bringing Sectaurs back to the world of action figures. Instead of sticking to with the larger scale of the original vintage line, we're going with the smaller 1/18th scale, 4 inches, that's becoming more and more popular with modern action figure collectors. The first 2 figures that will be offered in line are Dargon and General Spydrex, the main hero and villain of the series. Both come with updated versions of the original accessory pieces from the vintage line, plus 4 extra sets of interchangeable hands, which offer a wider variety of display options. The figures will be packaged on a 6x9 blister card with character-specific artwork. Okay, so a couple things that I don't like about this campaign already. One, it's assuming that people that just visit here are going to know what Sectaurs are, because they're saying it's making a comeback, but at no point did it try to introduce what the concept is for this. And they've also just assumed a bunch of information here. Instead of sticking with the larger scale of the original vintage line, why don't they say the original vintage line figures were 12 inches or have a size comparison or something like that? But hey, maybe below, if we scroll down, we'll find what that is. So there's just a lot of assumption here. They're really preaching to the choir in terms of the fan base. The fans are going to know this. I'm aware of this. But that doesn't mean that everybody on Kickstarter is aware of this. And sure, you're going to count on your fan base for that good meat and potato, 70 to 80% of your goal, but you got to get the 20% that comes from people that just may discover this or want to get in on it. So here are the two figures that they're offering. Dargon, Heroic Sectar of the Shining Realm, and General Spider-X, Evil Sectar of the Dark Domain. So it's bad versus good. You can see the different hands that they talked about, the different accessories, in the look. And that's basically it for the campaign body. They go right to risks and challenges, as those of you who supported our New Adventure People Kickstarter already know. There's always a possibility that things will not go according to them. Thankfully, that project is now back on track after getting into the hands of a competent factory. We've shared images of the new samples online and hope to start fulfillment in the third quarter of this year. The Sectaurs line will be handled by the same factory that did productions on I Am Elemental action figures. If you're not familiar with that property, be sure to check out online reviews and see how happy people are with the quality. So, one thing I don't like about this is, when they're talking about risks and challenges, they're saying what has not went well with other crowdfunding campaigns and other projects that they've done, instead of just saying that sometimes third-party suppliers and vendors aren't as competent as they were. They've set us back in the past. We've rectified this, or spinning it to say, after several campaigns and several project lines that we've been a part of, we found a reliable people, so we don't foresee anything going out of the ordinary. But who knows what can happen? There's still a lot out of our hands. Instead of basically just saying right away, like, we've had lots of problems. Here are the lines that specifically had a lot of problems. So if I wanted to look this up, and I probably will for the sake of this video, just to see what the comments are and see how it's been handled and see how they were able to kind of battle it. Let's jump over to rewards right now. They're at 11.5 now. I think that went up a little bit, maybe not. 158 backers, 29 days to go. So this is a day one project we're looking at. And I always like looking at projects right out of the gate, because we may do like a catch-up episode later at the end of the campaign to see how they did, if they made any changes to them based on what we did. Because we usually reach out to a lot of the campaign creators to see if they're either interested in switching their campaign or to just basically make use of the feedback that we give, whether they're backed or busted. So let's take a look at the rewards again. No dollar pledge. The first pledge out of the gate is $20 for the Dargon action figure, okay? It ships anywhere in the world. And then, of course, we got General Spider-X action figure. You can get the 2-pack for $40, so there's no price discount at all. It's you can get one of each, or you can get the 2-pack for $40. So you get one of each. You get the Dargon in general, or you can get Dargon action figure 2-pack set of 2 Dargons. You can get General Spider-X action figure 2-packs of 2 General Spider-X. Or you can get Sectaurs action figure 4-pack, set of 4 Sectaurs, 1/18 scale. So you basically get 2 Dargons and 2 General Spider-X. But there's no price break at all. So basically, they don't have a lot of SKUs here or options. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but they're only selling 2 products. And nowhere in the campaign does it say why Kickstarter is important, which really bothers me. It just says that we've been making figures before, and this is what we're doing. I know that these have been teased, and you can see after 10 long months of reveals, the Sectaurs Kickstarter is finally here. The prototypes had been getting out and whatnot, but I don't know why they're on Kickstarter other than to maybe leverage the marketing of it. There's no dire need for this by the looks of it. This doesn't feel like an all or nothing. This definitely feels like pre-order territory, and when that happens, I just don't get all that excited about it. I don't have a reason, so it really comes down to I want to back it or not, and there's just a lot I don't like already. Let's go to the updates. So as I said, product launch, we have an update already. Packaging details. One thing I want to be sure to point out is that these figures will be packaged on standard blister cards, which means that the blister will have to be removed from the card to get the figure out. These will not be packaged in what's commonly called collector-friendly packaging, where the backer card slides out so the figure can be removed without having to damage the package. And people are saying, we all love the packaging. Don't worry about the packaging. Can't wait to see them in real life. So if we're talking about packaging, and this is how it's going to come, why are they only showing them loose as these mock-ups? Wouldn't it be important to see what they look like? They talk about them here as well. The figures will be packaged on a 6x9 blister card with character-specific artwork. So there is passive voice here. Will be packaged. We will package the figures on a 6x9 blister card with character-specific artwork. Can you not show us some of the samples? Can you not, I don't know, have some sort of contest on Facebook or Twitter that you can mention to, have the audience pick a couple different concept designs and find out what'll work best, and I don't know, like do some crowdsourcing in that way. Like, this feels like a really bland campaign, and I want to get excited because I remember these in my youth, and I had a couple. it's really hard on this one, and I don't know. It's hard to get excited over here. So let's take a look at the general comments here. So, glad to be on this Kickstarter. Just bought all the vintage line and get ready to go. Had to get the 2-pack. Ooh, all right. Been waiting for this to start. With you on the 2-pack. Great start. Does anyone remember the intro for the short-lived cartoon? Remember its disturbing fate of humans. Peter Cullen's voice, which did Optimus Prime. Any plans on producing other Sectaurs? Sculpts for Mantor and Skulk are complete. They're completed, but both are on the list to get produced hopefully soon. Stellara is also planned, but nothing has been sculpted. Any stretch goals? And then we've got some links here. Due to the high production cost of getting these 2 figured made, there are no stretch goals planned. So this is really just a pre-order. 2-pack for me. Great to see you on here. I really wish other figures we made available now. I pledged $68 for a Dragon Spydrax. Looks like something I can throw into my Hacks Fantasy line. So nothing really damning or questionable there. Go back to the campaign. Again, this is day 1. We definitely have another back here, 159. Let's look at the community and see how we're broken up. So 134 backers come from the U.S. LA is the top city here. 10 new backers, 149 returning backers. So a lot. This is a very Kickstarter savvy crowd so far. Not a lot of newcomers here, and most of them are from the U.S. Let's look at Zica Toys history. So they've created 4, and they've only backed 14. They backed NES Maker, which we also featured, which is cool. What else do we got here? Animal Warriors, Full Quiet, a new adventure game for the NES. Homebrews and Oddity, Toys That Time Forgot. Just kind of scrolling through to see if there's anything super interesting. Okay, so they've been backing some other similar projects, which is interesting to me. Let's take a look at the ones that they've created. So Sectaurs was where they're at. Funding unsuccessful for turntable action figure display. The New Adventure People, which is the one they talked about. There's one below here that it's not letting me scroll down to because it's scrolling in the background, but that one was canceled 2 years ago. Let's click on this. Let's see what we can find out about this. The New Adventure People is a very G.I. Joe looking figures, I guess you could say. Excited to present a new take on an old favorite action figure. Adventure People, Boss Fight Studios, 11 to Plex, and other talented artists. This new line will have aesthetics and articulation of the most popular action figures today. Let's go right to the comments because there's 82. Let's see here. I think we should at least get more frequent updates considering how behind schedule the project is. So let's just see what they were hoping to do. Oh, I'll go forward. 4 created. Click this. Let's go to the rewards. So they were hoping for November 2016. So that was a year and a bit ago. So they're definitely behind. They're looking for more updates. Got to be honest, it's taken so long. I want to get my pledge back. Same, I'm tired of watching everything crumble. I initially backed this to support the potential of Eagle Force line. However, for me, the project became a huge letdown as it feels like less of an homage, more of a modern cluster F of Force new characters. No thanks. I would just like to get a refund at this point. Sorry, this hasn't worked out as expected, but regardless. After reading Bill's post, let me be the first thing I told you, okay, if you change your mind and restart Adventure People, if he decides to go with a tooling change. Sad to hear this was canceled, and I can't say I'm surprised. Wish you had communicated more with us. Whoa, so some major things happening here. Adventure People and Eagle Force projects have been combined in the same production. This information has been posted previous update. We recently reviewed samples. So there's a lot of angry people. Let's see if we can check out the updates on this. And this is important to check out some of these other projects because, you know, if you want to back something, you got to see a bit of a track record. And this is probably why they addressed that. Thanks to very unexpected events with the factory, I've been luckily given the opportunity to move forward with the production of the New People line. Adventure People line canceled October 30th. So the campaign is for New Adventure People. And so he says it's canceled here. I don't need to really go. Okay, we'll click on it just to see what we can learn. Due to circumstances beyond it very difficult to cancel New People, as many other projects have been plagued with multiple production issues and gone through 3 different factories. Current factories expect me to make my compromise that result final product doesn't meet expectations. Starting at the end of November, we begin the process of issuing refunds to backers, starting with a high dollar amounts. Each fund will be given PayPal Our company check. I deeply apologize at this step, and I want to thank everybody for their unbelievable patience during the time. This decision does not affect the Eagle Force action figure line that I partner with on Fresh Monkey Fiction. This still line is in development and on schedule for a second quarter release. So that's interesting. And then Adventure line is back on track here. Thanks to a very unexpected turn of events with the factory, I've been given the opportunity to move forward on the production. Initially, there were two major issues I had with the recent stand. One is that they weren't scaled correctly. The other is the poorly designed joints. I won't go into specifics. Both of these mistakes were made by the factory, who at first was unwilling to fix them without more money. Thankfully, in an effort to build a solid business relationship and do the right thing, they've decided to fix both at their own expense. The bad news is this will cause a further delay, so we understand that. And paint reference samples in hand. So tell me, okay, so these are some pictures that they've taken at the very least. So it is back on track. That is unfortunate that has happened. Here we are back at the Sectaurs page. So Zica Toys has had a lot of issues there with that other campaign. So that's just something to be aware of. I'm not saying that this will affect the same thing. They did get it sorted out. So that probably means good things for this new campaign as they try to deliver on schedule, on target, and on money. They're suggesting January 2019 here. So about a year. So you're going to invest $20 and get it back a year later for this particular campaign. Let's head over to KickTrack. And this is where we're at. So this was updated an hour ago. So it's a little behind because it's $9,500 now. And so this is only at $9,000. So they're trending towards 700% of the goal. We don't have a lot of information to go on here. We only get the packaging details update. Daily data is going to be limited to just today. So it's all the backers, all the monies. No projection, of course, because it's so early. You can check that out. Insufficient data for projection. Mini chart, which you can share and see how it's all going. No tags, nothing, but I imagine this will be on the hit list since it's so early and it's doing fairly well. And here you go, see it on number 17 on the overall hit list, which is nice to see. And we'll see if it's on design. Number 2 on design. So there you go. Very cool there. So that is Sectaurs, and you know, this is the point where we have to take everything into account to say if this is worth backing. And this doesn't really come down to the toy so much, but it always comes down to the campaign and what we can trust and not trust. So let's take a look at the pros. 1, it's a fan base. 2, it's a company that's made mistakes before because we did a little bit of digging into it, and it looks like they've got their production and third-party vendors sorted out. And 3, it's a simple reward-driven project. They're offering 2 things. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing elaborate. They're not trying for stretch goals. They're not getting caught up in anything bigger than it needs to be. The cons. There's no video. I get no sense of pitch from Zica Toys on why they want to use Kickstarter and why I should be compelled to give $20 to wait a year for an action figure. I get no sense of packaging, even though it's been mentioned a couple times. I get... I'm stuck with only 2 options here that have been multiplied without a price break in any capacity, and I find that punishing towards the backer, because otherwise I'll wait for retail on that case. And again, the $1 pledge. There's no reason why you can't have a $1 pledge with only 6 rewards or whatever we said there were. We don't have any frequently asked questions, which there should be given that they mention them in the rewards. So they should definitely at least populate the frequently asked questions that address some of their new adventures line and the manufacturing and factory problems they've had, and put my mind at ease. They definitely need a video. So until they offer a price break somehow, which they probably can't do at this point because people have backed this already, unless they want to create a new one and have everybody go over and try to delete the old one at that point, which is a lot of work, so it's a little too late for that ship. But they definitely should be updating this with packaging. I don't know where the money's going, why they need that specific amount, and I don't know why they need to be on Kickstarter. This feels like a pre-order for 2 figures, and because their Kickstarter history is spotty, and I believe me, I get it. I've had my own products on Kickstarter delayed. Mind you, they were stretch goals. Still, I can't in good conscience back this. So unfortunately, right now I have to officially declare that this is busted. I want to back it. I like the Sectaurs. I'm a huge retro toy fan. So hopefully if Zica Toys checks this out, they can find a way to appease me by getting a video on there that speaks to the masses and gives me a really good pitch about why I should be interested and how this might lead to more figures and how that could lead to a new cartoon and really just revitalizing something cool. I just don't feel it yet. So this is busted. If you've got a project that you want me to take a look at, happy to dig in and dig deep. Whether it's on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or if you need help with your project, hit me up at Rob McZob on Twitter, Facebook.com/BackdoorBusted Crowdfunding, or just by simple email, crowdfundingspectacular99@gmail.com. I'm your host, Rob McCallum. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.